Pretty, isn't it? What's up, everybody? This is Majora T from the internet, and as you can tell, it's very bright outside, making this the perfect light for me to review a favorite console of mine, the Nintendo DS Lite. So without further ado, please enjoy the review. Thank you. Well, I originally was going to sell this thing and just make a little bit of pocket money off of it, so maybe I could save up to buy a Game Boy Advance SP. I kind of found myself enjoying it a little bit more than I expected in the previous days, so let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about why I like this console. Shall I? Well, the Nintendo DS Lite is not the first Nintendo DS of its kind. It is still a very highly resemblant system that carries a lot of significant features that I find myself enjoying today. For one, the cartridge insertion is fairly easy to do, and it even contains a Game Boy Advance cartridge slot. That's a very useful feature. You can actually set which screen you want to play it on, although for me the top screen always seems to work better. I like that this thing has built-in speakers, even though they're not too loud, and that there's a headphone jack so that you can enjoy some soundtracks to some fantastic games, or fantastic soundtracks to good games, either way. The buttons are a little bit small, but if you compare this to the 3DS, then you'll notice that the buttons are similar size. The only thing is the D-pad is a little small, but it's not terrible. Also, I like that these are symmetrical. If you look at the 3DS, the analog stick is here and the control panel is down here. So it makes it a little bit odd playing. And the width is a little bit bigger. This system is called the DS Lite, so it's a bit lighter. So I do enjoy that. It's a relatively portable system, and it's not as expensive as the 3DS, so you don't need to worry as much when you take it out. At least on the bus or in public or whatever. You know, I took it to work yesterday because I had an hour break, and I found myself enjoying some Brain Age and some Game & Watch Gallery. I think those are just a few of the many interesting titles for the Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance that you can enjoy on the go. So that's a pretty interesting feature. You can see here I've got this transparent case. This is actually, even though you're going to see that the system is a little bit roughed up, you can actually cut out artwork to size and throw it in here. So that's an interesting way of customizing your DS. Also, I picked the polar white, so you're going to notice a lot of dirt and blemishes, but this system comes in a lot of different colors, so that's an interesting facet of Nintendo consoles that I've always seemed to enjoy, although the portables always seem to take the best advantage of this. There's a few other good things I like about the console. There's the easy stylus insertion removal, the shoulder buttons, the touchscreen works noticeably well. You can soft reset the system to restart your game if you need to by pressing LR start and select. And the volume slider is easy to use, as well as the power button. That and the navigation screen work noticeably well. Even though the 3DS is also portable, I consider the DS Lite to be a better option for taking your system on the go. That and the 3DS doesn't have a Game Boy Advance insertion slot. Now, I do wish this thing played Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, but it's understandable for the time because this is kind of a state-of-the-art console. When it got released, touchscreen was a very innovative feature. I would show you the games and some of the screen work, but you can see that with this sunlight it would be a little bit difficult, but to do the least I'll turn the power on. Maybe you'll see something. You can at least hear that boot up sound, which is interesting, and it's very unique. Nintendo always does a good job at bringing personality to their consoles and to their software. Now, if I did have two primary critiques for the DS Lite, they are primarily aesthetic, and one comes down to the width of the system. I prefer to be able to just play right here. It's easier on my thumbs. So being a little wide is a little tough. That and the buttons are a little bit small. So that's something to deal with. The other critique I have for the system is that when you insert the Game Boy Advance cartridge, it kind of juts out like a sore thumb. And so that's not exactly too pretty, but it's not a big deal. And especially when compared to the Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges, it could be a lot worse. Minor criticisms aside, The DS Lite is highly enjoyable and easy to collect for. The library is relatively inexpensive and full of great titles. One I personally enjoy is Donkey Kong Country, which is a port of the Super Nintendo masterpiece, some may say, and is almost identical in nearly every way. In general, the DS Lite is a great way to enjoy DS and Game Boy Advance titles. So, if you enjoy either of the two, I think this is a good item to collect for, especially if you don't have a Game Boy Advance or 3DS. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. And please enjoy the rest of your day. Aloha.